Come on in. Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Have a seat.
Okay, thank you.
Did you find parking okay?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Your instructions were really clear.
Okay, good. So thanks for coming in today. So I'd just like to go over my role here with you, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a graduate student here and I have a supervisor, and I will only share information with my supervisor and the clinic team as necessary. And at this point, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about confidentiality. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's
okay. So I won't share anything beyond my supervisor or the clinic team unless the information involves hurting yourself or someone else, and the same with Mark. In which case I would talk to you, tell you exactly what I would need to say and who I'd need to speak to. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that sounds very reasonable.
Okay. So some people come to therapy to address specific problems, and other people come to therapy to engage in self-exploration. So the purpose of today's intake appointment is to talk about Mark's current needs for therapy and how our clinic can best meet his needs. So we have about 35 minutes together, you and I, and I'm going to ask you some questions about different areas of his life to get an overview of how he's doing and to learn about your goals for therapy. If it's okay with you, I'd like to speak with Mark today to better understand what's been going on from his perspective. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
Okay.
Hopefully he'll want to talk to you.
Okay, I hope so. Everything you share with me today will help determine if our clinic is the best place to meet Mark's needs. If for some reason we find that it's not, we'll provide you a summary of everything we talked about today, some treatment recommendations, and referrals for outside services. And if it's okay with you, I'd just like to take a few notes to make sure that I'm capturing what you're saying accurately. Is that okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. So what's the reason that you're seeking services for Mark at this time?
Well, at this point, we really don't know what to do anymore. We've come to a place where we throw up our hands and we're not sure what to do about, everything, all the behaviors that he's showing. I mean, he refuses to come down for dinner. He throws tantrums at movie stores if he doesn't get his way or doesn't get the movie that he wants. He will not get off his video games. I swear he spends hours and hours on them, and we try to get him off, and it just causes him to be really upset and throw a big tantrum. He's just screaming and yelling all the time. He's so angry, and he doesn't listen, and he's just getting. Another area of concern is that my younger daughter, who's 10, he's becoming more aggressive with her, and that's starting to scare me. I don't want it to be something that spins out of control or gets worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that must be really scary for you guys.
Yeah, because we don't want him to become physical with anyone, let alone his sister or with us. And as he gets older, he just seems so angry.
He seems angry?
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, it's all the time, and he has a really hard time listening and calming down and being able to really hear what we're saying to him. If we try to give him solutions or a reward for calming down, he just doesn't hear it. He's so defiant, and what we're really concerned is basic safety. When someone's that angry, we don't want him to cause any harm to my daughter. We don't want him to cause any harm to himself. What if things were to escalate in school, the safety of the other students. That's our the main priority is just to keep him and everyone safe. But also getting him to listen and cooperate is really important.
Yeah, sure. How long has this been going on, that he's been defiant and just not listening?
I mean, he's always been, pretty irritable, I think, more than other kids. As an infant, he was pretty hard to soothe, and, in his early years, he was a harder toddler than, other toddlers, and the terrible twos were, capital T, terrible.
Yeah.
And just ever since then, he's been pretty difficult to manage behavior-wise.
So he's just had this temperament since he's little, just really difficult to soothe, really difficult to kind of get him to calm down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a recent example of a time when he's been just so angry and defiant?
Yeah, well, something so scary happened a few nights ago. He was playing video games, and We told him to stop. It was time to go to bed and whatever. And he lost his temper. Like, he really went into a rampage. And it was really impossible to get him to calm down. And he locked himself in his room for, like, hours. And so we thought, like, he went to sleep. He had calmed himself down. Like, everything was fine. And then when my husband went to go check on him, like, a few hours later, he, got into the door and he found that he was gone. He wasn't in his room. And it was, like, very scary. And so we couldn't even talk to him about it because we're so afraid that he's going to do it again. Like, that talking to him is, like, going to encourage him to sneak out again. But that was the scariest moment we've had so far. We thought, where had he gone? Was he safe? He was in the street, whatever. It's like, it's really scary.
That's really scary, yeah. So where did you find him?
So we went out looking, and it turns out he was, like, walking down the street in our neighborhood. So luckily he was on the sidewalk. We have safe sidewalks in our neighborhood, and I'm glad he wasn't walking in the street or anything like that because it was dark, right? The car may not have seen him, God forbid. So it was so frightening to us. I mean, we're so glad that we found him and he was safe and nothing had happened, but we're just so afraid to try and talk to him about it or just, like, even approach him about, like, discipline or, like, why we were so scared. We were scared for his safety because we were just afraid, like, he's just going to do it again. Like, that's just going to tell him that he can go do it again.
Right. Was that the first time that he tried to run away?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was precipitated by you guys telling him to stop playing video games?
Yeah, which is, like, an everyday thing.
It happens every day?
Yeah, in terms of just telling him to, like, stop playing video games. But he's never had this type of reaction.
Okay. So he's never run away before, but he gets really angry when you guys tell him to come down for dinner or stop playing video games.
Yeah, exactly.
So how long has that been happening every day?
I mean, it's been happening, like, I'd say, it's always been difficult, but probably, like, in the last 8 to 12 months, like, in the last year.
Okay.
Yeah. It's gotten worse.
It's gotten worse in the past year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did anything happen? Were there any kind of changes in the family right before you started noticing his anger?
No, not really. I can't really pinpoint it. Kind of just, like, slowly he just got angrier and angrier and more resistant and more difficult than he was before.
I see. Okay. How does this impact him at school?
Well, I mean, he's not doing that well in school. I think he's very capable of doing well, but I think that he doesn't apply himself. Like, in his classes, I think he's just not interested, and all of the teachers find him, like, very defiant, like, just really difficult to work with and, like, difficult to manage behavior-wise, and I think that's also impacting his academic work.
Have you had meetings with his teachers?
We have, and there may be one or two teachers that kind of understand more, like, where he's coming from with his behavior, even though we don't even, but it's still like some of his teachers are just losing patience with him, and I don't blame them. It's difficult to deal with him on a daily basis.
Sure, and I'm sure that's frustrating for you guys too, to have to kind of always hear, like, what he's doing wrong and all the trouble that he's having.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about friends? How is he socially?
Yeah, I mean, he only has one friend right now, and that friend just comes over and plays video games, and honestly, Mark just bosses him around the whole time. It doesn't really give him a chance to, like, talk or play with him. And he's not in any, like, groups or, like, social groups or anything after school because we're afraid he's going to act out with the other kids. We don't even like inviting, like, our friends' children over, our friends over, because we're kind of afraid of what he's going to do. And so it's been really difficult to maintain friendships with for him because there's just, sure, maybe we can have someone over, but what is he going to do when that person's over? Is he going to be, angry? Is he going to do something aggressive? Is he just going to boss him around and yell at the friend? Like, that's not something we want to put another person through. So it's kind of hard. We feel kind of stuck because it's hard for him to make friends, but at the same time, we're scared to give him the opportunities where he would be able to.
Yeah, I'm sure that's hard for you guys too. Like if you want to have people over and they have kids, it kind of limits your socializing too.
Yeah.
Because you don't feel comfortable inviting people over.
Right.
Yeah. That's tough. What about how is he like with daily living, like with meal times, getting ready for bed, showering, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, getting him to get ready for bed and showering is like a really big challenge. He also doesn't even come down for dinner anymore. We'll just bring up his food because it's just too much of a argument to get into about just getting him downstairs for dinner. And even if he comes down, like he's miserable, and that makes dinner like not a great time. And we've honestly begun to giving up on like getting him to do his homework, and just like we just let him play video games sometimes, like even when he hasn't done his homework, because it's just such a fight. And even it's hard to get him in the car, like going to school, or if I need to run errands and he needs to come with me, like I'm afraid to get him in the car because like what if he were to jump out when it was moving? Like I don't know what he's gonna do. It's unpredictable.
Right. So it's kind of, I mean, you can't get things done that you want to do with him. That's got to be really difficult.
Yeah. No, it is.
Mm-hmm. So how have you guys attempted to deal with his behavior and his anger on your own?
Well, I mean, the only thing that we've really been able to pinpoint that like helps him be not so angry is like when we buy him like the latest and greatest new video game that he wants, or like something that just came out, like video game wise that he's been wanting for a long time. But we've tried other things, and like that's honestly the only thing that kind of works, and we're not even sure that's like what we should be doing. We don't spank or hit or anything like that. Mostly just we send him to his room, but it doesn't seem to bother Mark at all. Like sending him to his clearly it's not working, and like it doesn't seem to impact him in any way positively.
Are his video games in his room?
Yes.
Okay. So taking them away or sending him to his room doesn't faze him. The only thing that kind of motivates him is the thought of getting a new video game. That's kind of what he likes to do.
Yeah. And we want to use that as a positive thing, but also they're expensive, and it adds up, and we don't want to be, if he's not showing good behavior, we don't want to like give him something, that he didn't earn.
Yeah. It sounds like you guys are trying to do everything you can to help him. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, it is. We're trying.
Yeah, I could tell. So you said he's been a difficult child pretty much since he's been an infant. But is this the first time that he's experienced these outbursts?
No, I mean, yeah, like you were saying, like I mentioned, it's always been, there. Just the severity has gotten worse in like the past year.
I see. Okay. And has he ever experienced any other concerns that resulted in emotional distress that we haven't already covered?
Not really.
Okay. So what led the decision to seek services now?
Well, once he snuck out, the other night, I think it was almost 9 o'clock, so I knew that like the clinic hours, they close at 9. I was like, I have to call them, like we just have to come in now, it's just time. And so we called here right after that, and we're thinking we can't handle him anymore the way he is, so this is like our last ditch effort to try and get him some help. And we started to think about like residential treatment, but that's just like too painful to think about yet, so we're not there. But can you imagine like having to send your kid away? I mean, it's just it's not a good thing. So this is why we're here, is to try something before we have to approach that topic.
Yeah, that's gonna be really even tough to just think about the thought of sending him to a residential program. It's just not something that you guys wanna do.
No.
Yeah.
He's a good kid, he is. It's just these behaviors are almost unmanageable.
Right, I know. Well, it's commendable that you guys, sought the services here and came today. I think that takes a lot of bravery. So good job to you for coming today.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you reported in the questionnaire that he is displaying aggressive behavior, conflict with you and your husband, conflict with his sister, impulsive and reckless behavior. He's irritable, withdrawn, and he has problems making and maintaining friendships. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think that about covers it.
Okay. So you said that he's angry and he's irritable. And how often does he lose his temper, would you say?
Definitely every day. I don't know about at school, but after school or before school, probably like 3 to 5 times a day.
In school or at home?
At home.
Okay.
And then in school, I think it probably happens, but probably to a lesser extent.
Okay. Would you say that he's often touchy or easily annoyed?
Yeah. Like, you could say one thing, and, like, it'll just set him off. He just, like, that's it. Like, I could ask him to put away a glass for me or a plate or something, or get out the milk, and it'll just set him off. He will just be like, I don't know why you want me to do these things. Like, I'm not your maid. I feel like you just want me to do everything for you. Like, you can't do anything yourself. I mean, it becomes mean, what the, like, hurtful words that he says. So, like, yeah, very easily set off by anything, annoyed, yeah.
Okay, so he says he's set off, he says these mean things, and he doesn't understand that, being a part of a household and helping out your family is just kind of part of what you do. He's just saying, like, why are you making me do this? And
right.
Getting really angry about it.
Yeah, and we've tried to make, like, chore charts. Like, we've tried to do that, but he just ignores them.
He ignores them?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say that he's resentful?
I think that he feels resentful that he can't just, like, in the way that, like, he can't just play video games all day. Like, I think he resents us for that, like, that we make him go to school, that we make him do his homework. Well, not as much anymore, but, like, that we still have set structures and responsibilities that he has to do every day, and I don't think he likes that. So I certainly think he's, like, I don't know about hate, but, like, definitely doesn't feel good towards us.
Right. Because you make him do things that he doesn't want to do.
Right.
But it's part of, you're trying to set limits and trying to teach him appropriate behavior. Sure. So does he argue with you and your husband?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay. And
we probably, like, don't have a full conversation without an argument.
That's got to be really tough to not be able to, like, just have a normal conversation with him.
Yeah. We can't communicate with him.
What about his teachers? Do you know if he argues with them too?
He definitely is defiant towards his teachers. Like, most of them have said that, and he just, like, won't do the work or won't be paying attention, or, like, when he's asked to or, like, prompt to do something, he's like, I don't want to, and he just will refuse to do it. He's just very defiant. He's
defiant.
Yeah.
Okay. And he refuses to comply with requests or prompts.
Yeah, no, he doesn't like to follow people's orders. Yeah, take orders from, like, older people or authority figures. Like, he doesn't like that.
Okay. Do you think he deliberately annoys his sister or other kids?
Definitely. I think he really provokes his sister, and that's what, kind of makes me even more concerned, because she's smaller than him, she's younger, and I don't want him to ever I don't want it to get to the point where he's hurting her in any way. I mean, he already yells, but mainly at us, but we try to protect, our daughter from that. But I'm very nervous that, like, it's going to turn to aggression. And also in school, like, it's not only his sister, like, he just likes to boss around that friend who comes over, or, like, in school, he's just, like, either ignores the kids or, like, deliberately annoys them, like, wants to, like, get a reaction, like, get a rise from them.
Okay.
And so he'll do things that he knows is going to set them off.
Okay. Do you think that he blames other people for his mistakes or his misbehavior?
Yeah, I mean, he'll never say, like, it was my fault that I lashed out. I'm sorry. Like, he won't say that. He won't use that kind of behavior. He'll be like, well, you're the one who wanted me to do the dishes or, like, put away the plate, so, like, it's not my fault that like, we had an argument about that. Like, it's your fault. Or he's like, it's your fault I have to go to school. It's your fault I have to do my homework and can't play video games. At school, like, it's his teacher's fault that, like, he has to sit there for 40 minutes and listen, whatever. It's, like, never his own issues that he sees.
He's not taking responsibility.
No, there's, no responsibility at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Would you say that he has been spiteful or vindictive?
Yeah, I mean, probably more spiteful. I think so, like, he is, but I would say, like, he more so acts out in anger rather than, like, planning something out, which I hopefully would never turn into that, because that would be pretty scary. But it seems like just things set him off, and then he just becomes very spiteful.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like a reaction to whatever has happened.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. And how often does he fight with his sister?
Probably every day, unless he just holds himself up in his room, and then at that point, she doesn't even see him. But, like, if they're together in the same room, like, they're gonna argue. He's gonna start an argument with her.
Yeah, that's gotta be hard for the whole family.
It's hard to feel like a cohesive family when, you know, your son doesn't want anything to do with you.
Yeah. And what kind of things do they usually fight about?
They fight about, like toys that, like, she wants to play with that were used to be his and are now hers. Like, he doesn't like that, you know, he's had to pass down toys that he grew out of. If he plays video games, like, in the living room, like, she can't watch TV, like, she'll ask, you know, hey, Mark, can I either watch you play video games or, like, can I watch this show that I want to watch, whatever, and, like, he just will get into her, he will say, no, it's my TV, like, I can do what I want, and whatever, and then just, like, you know, if he sees something of hers lying around, to, like, pick it up and throw it, like, he's just careless with her stuff, and just mean towards her.
Yeah, I'm sure that's tough for her, too. How long have they been fighting like that?
I mean, they've never really gotten along that well, but certainly, like, it's gotten worse in the past year, yeah.
Yeah, in the past year, okay. So, we're going to switch gears a little bit, and I'm going to ask you some questions that we ask about every child that comes in here, just to make sure that kids are feeling safe. Has your child ever mentioned thoughts about being dead or what it would be like to be dead?
No.
Okay. Has your child ever mentioned a wish to be dead or a wish that he could go to sleep and never wake up?
No.
Okay. Has your child ever mentioned a wish to not be alive anymore?
No. I mean, he's, like, once he said as he was storming up the stairs, he was like, I wish I wasn't born into this family. But, I mean, I don't think he was saying he wishes he was never born. I think it just means that he doesn't like us and being a part of the family, because I went up and I asked him about it because I was a little concerned by some of his language. And I said, you know, like, this is serious. You have to talk to me about this. And he was like, no, I didn't mean that. Like, he did level with me, and he was like, I didn't mean that. I wish I was never born. I just, like, I didn't want to be a part of this family. So, like, while that was hurtful, I was happy to hear that, like, it wasn't anything like a scary thought.
Right. Okay. Has your child ever mentioned a thought about doing something to make himself not alive anymore?
No.
Okay. And has your child ever mentioned any thoughts about killing himself?
No.
Okay. Has your child ever engaged in any self-harm behaviors, for example, cutting or burning, without intent to kill himself?
No.
Okay.
Not that I know.
Okay. Has your child ever had any thoughts about seriously hurting or killing another person?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Has your child ever had serious intent or developed a plan to kill someone else? Okay. Has your child ever attempted to seriously hurt or kill another person? Okay. Have you, your child, or anyone close to your child ever felt that your child was engaging in any behaviors that were dangerous or risky?
Well, running, away from home the other night.
And you said that only happened once?
Yeah, just once.
And that was last week?
Yeah.
And right before that, you had asked him to come down for dinner?
Yeah, and that we wanted him to stop playing video games.
Okay. Do you have a sense of what he was thinking when he was engaging when he ran away?
I mean, honestly, I think he wants our attention, or wants something that he can't have, or that he's not allowed to have. And I mean, sometimes it seems that he's pretty tired, maybe not sleeping enough, and maybe that's a source of, the anger. And then, when he's angry, he feels like he's about to explode, and then we have to walk on eggshells because we're afraid that whatever we say is going to set him off. And that's just, that's just going to be worse.
Mm-hmm. You feel like you're walking on eggshells in your own house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. So what happened after? So after you found him and you got him to come home. Mm-hmm. What happened after that?
We just put him to bed and said goodnight because we were afraid to confront him about it, in the fear of making it worse, making the situation worse, or making him want to do it again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Does your child have access to weapons in your home or an environment in which he spends time?
No.
Okay. So sometimes things happen to children that are very upsetting, like being in a life-threatening situation, like a major disaster, a serious accident, or a fire, being physically assaulted, seeing another person killed or dead or badly hurt, or just hearing about something horrible that's happened to someone you're close to. Have any of these things happened to your child?
Well, I guess thinking back, we were in a car accident when he was 5, okay. But everyone was okay. It wasn't like a major car accident. Okay. Someone rear-ended us on a side street, so I mean they were going a little too fast, so it wasn't it was a little more than a fender bender, but it wasn't bad at all. Mm-hmm. It was okay. Okay.
And has your child ever suffered a serious loss?
No.
Has anyone ever touched your child in an inappropriate way?
No.
Has anyone ever hit your child in a way that left marks on his body?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you reported that everything was okay medically. He went for his checkup.
Yeah. I mean, everything seems to check out in terms of anything happening. Anything that would be causing his anger that's medically related. He doesn't really have much going on. I mean, thank God. I mean, yeah, he seems to be he's okay medically.
Okay. To your knowledge, has Mark ever drank or used any kind of substance?
No.
Okay. Has Mark ever received prior mental health services?
No.
Okay.
Oh, well, he does have, I guess medically, he has allergies, but
okay.
Those aren't, they're seasonal, they're pretty mild, and
yeah.
When we did bring him to his pediatrician for his yearly checkup, they thought that Ritalin may be, helpful, mm-hmm. But we haven't actually tried anything.
Okay, so the doctor recommended it, but you haven't tried it.
Right.
Okay. And there's no legal history that you reported.
No, but we are concerned about what he did last week. I mean,
about running away.
Yeah, I mean, what if the police had driven by and seen him? That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Sure, that's really concerning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So who, in terms of the home environment, it's you, his sister, and your husband?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you said that there hasn't been any changes to the home environment recently?
No, and honestly, my husband's mother is getting older and needs to be cared for, but we're afraid to have her come live with us because of Mark.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can you describe how Mark does in school, with his grades? I know you mentioned that he doesn't listen to his teachers, but how is he doing in school otherwise?
Yeah, I mean he's not doing great. I think he's capable of getting A's, but they've been B's and C's recently, and even if he wanted to do his homework, I recently lost my job, so
Okay.
I worked part home and I worked part time before, and now I'm home, so I would be able to help him with his homework and help him with his grades, and but it's been difficult trying to even get him to do his homework. So I think that he is capable of getting better grades if we were to do his homework and really apply himself and be interested in the material that he's learning, but he just doesn't show an interest in it.
You feel like he's not applying himself and
No, not at all, yeah.
reaching his potential, that
Mhm.
he could be doing better, but he's not applying himself.
Yeah.
And are there any known learning disabilities?
Well, we had him assessed in second grade because they wanted to hold him back,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't find any learning problems. I mean, he is he's going to school. He hasn't we do get him to school, which is good, so he hasn't had trouble with his attendance. He's in the gen ed. He doesn't have any special services. Back in elementary school, the counselor was oh, I'll check in with him once a week, whatever. But in middle school, we hoped he wouldn't need that check-in. He was in a social skills group in elementary school.
Okay.
But he's never had formal therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there is one teacher he gets along with, his math teacher. But his history teacher is they just butt heads. He hates it, and he also hates gym.
Okay.
So. Yeah.
So there's only certain teachers that he gets along with. The rest of them,
Yeah, that's only his math teacher.
just the math teacher.
Yeah, and then, academically, that's his best subject too.
Oh, okay. So if he's feels like he gets along with the teacher, then he tends to do better. But if he doesn't like the teacher, he's not going to apply himself at all. He's just going to kind of turn off.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you imagine he does at recess?
Well, he doesn't have many friends to hang out with. I mean, he has that one friend, but I don't even think they hang out. Honestly, I think he has a tough time at recess. I think some kids give him a hard time and tease him.
Mm.
So, friendship-wise, I don't think he hangs out with people at recess at all.
So he doesn't hang out with anyone? He just kind of wanders and...
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else about school? Any other concerns that we haven't talked about already?
Well, I mean, he was held back once for one grade.
That was in second grade?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've talked to the principal many times this semester. He's always calling your house or my cell phone. He's just not especially in history. He's just not following the teacher's instructions at all. We've tried his teachers have tried things like behavior charts and rewards charts and all these positive behavior things, but none of them have worked.
Nothing's worked.
No.
Yeah. And you said in terms of his social skills, he has trouble making friends, keeping friends. He just has that one friend that he bosses around.
Yeah, exactly. And he wet his bed until he was 10 years old, and so I think he was really embarrassed because he never wanted to stay over at friends' houses for a sleepover because of that.
Yeah.
I think he felt really embarrassed, so I think that's also made him less likely to make friends. And right now, he has that one friend who comes over that he watches him play video games and just yells at them.
Mm-hmm.
And that social skills group, in elementary school, is not helpful. Yeah.
It didn't help him at all.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't see any improvement in his ability to make friends or have conversations with people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he stopped putting the bed when he was 10?
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't had any trouble with that since?
No, but I think he's still scared it's gonna happen.
Yeah. So that's why he doesn't have sleepovers or have people stay over or anything like that. Okay. Is he involved in any kind of sports, hobbies, anything like that?
No, I mean, we want him to be, certainly, but it's just really difficult when we don't know how he's going to behave in those situations.
Right.
And he also has trouble, like, expressing what he wants to do besides play video games. Like, it's hard to figure out, like, which sport he would even want to do if he were to do one, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We're not sure.
Okay. And you said that you think that he might be getting teased at school on the playground?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the other kids like him that much. I think it's because he's disruptive in class, you know, and annoys the teacher, and they can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, he hasn't gotten into any fights. I think he mostly keeps to himself whenever he feels like someone's picking on him, which is better than, I guess, getting into some sort of aggressive fight about it, but it's still not good.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what do you hope Mark gains from therapy?
I really want him to be able to control his temper, like, on his own, and he has a lot of trouble with that. And, I mean, one time he even hit his sister with a stick.
Mm.
So, you know, we're afraid for her safety, for his safety, for the safety of others, and, you know.
So safety and controlling his temper are the two biggest concerns.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what do you think Mark hopes to gain from therapy?
I think he just wants us to leave him alone. Mm-hmm. I don't think he probably won't see the point in this.
Mm. Okay. What are your goals for therapy?
We want him to gain the skills to be more respectful and follow all of the household rules, like all the structure we want to put in place, and just really help controlling his temper and how to calm himself down, how to be more social with others, especially his sister. And, you know, we're just concerned that, this behavior isn't going to get better. We're just concerned it's going to keep getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so working on skills like rule following and just kind of behaving in a structure that promotes a functional family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Mm-hmm. So I hope to learn about your experiences as a part of the different groups that are important to your child's life. It may be a religious group, a cultural or racial group, or any other type of group. Do you think your child identifies as a part of any of those groups for your family?
No, I mean, I think he would be fine with anyone. The only thing I would say is that he tends to get along better with males.
Okay.
So, maybe that would be something, but I think, either way, you know, there are going to be challenges being his clinician, so I think anyone who's ready for the challenge would be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there any other considerations that you would like us to consider as far as religious groups, cultural identity, anything like that?
No.
Okay. So we're about out of time for our session, but if it's okay with you, I'd like to bring Mark in and talk to him for a few minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. I think that would be good.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank
I appreciate you taking the time.
Of course. Thank you for coming in. I just want to make sure that this is okay. All right, good. I wanted to make sure it wasn't the picture.
Oh, yeah. Did it record?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
recording.
Nice.
Okay. Come on in, Mark. How you doing today?
Good.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
How was school today?
Boring.
Boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. You comfortable in that seat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if it's okay with you, before we start, I'd just like to tell you a little bit about my role here. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm a graduate student here, and I have a supervisor, and I'll only share information with my supervisor and the clinic team as necessary. And at this point, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about confidentiality. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I won't share anything outside of my supervisor and the clinic team unless that information involves you hurting yourself or someone else. Okay? So in that case, I would talk to you about exactly who I would need to tell and what I would need to tell them. What do you think about that?
It's fine.
Okay. So people come to therapy for all kinds of reasons, and I'd like to talk to you today to get a better idea about what's going on in your life. So you and I have about 15 to 20 minutes together, and I'll be asking you some questions, and I'd like you to answer them as best you can. It'll just help me get a better idea of how we can help you. Does that sound okay to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me before we start?
Why am I here?
Why do you think you're here?
I don't know. I think my mom thinks I'm angry.
Your mom thinks you're angry.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know why I need to be here.
So we'll talk about that anger part. But first, could you just tell me a little bit about you? Like, what do you do? Take me through your day. What happens in a typical day for Mark?
Well, I wake up and I get dressed. I eat breakfast, but I don't like eating breakfast with my family, so I usually take it back upstairs with me. And then I get ready and go to school, and then sit through all my boring classes. And then come home from school, then play video games, eat dinner in my room, and go to sleep.
Sounds like you have a busy day.
Yeah, but I wish I could just play video games all day.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to school.
Sounds like you really like video games.
I do.
What kind of video games do you like?
Combat video games.
Cool.
Like Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of.
My favorite.
That's your favorite one, Call of Duty?
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of kids your age like that one, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So if you had a magic wand and you could change anything about your life, what would you change?
The fact that I have to go to school and listen to other people. And also have kids not be mean to me.
Because they're mean to you?
Yeah. For no reason.
How does that make you feel?
Upset. Angry.
Makes you upset and angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you like? Is there anything that you like about school?
Not really. I like my math teacher. He's cool.
Yeah. Mom says you're pretty good in math.
Yeah. Well, he's the only one who doesn't yell at me, so I like him.
Is that what you like the best about school, your math class?
Yeah.
And what do you like the least about school?
Definitely history. I hate my history teacher. He's just like doesn't get me. And I don't like gym either. It's just like stupid. I just feel like I'm always the last to be picked, or like I'm just not good at it. Like it's not fun.
So history and gym, you don't like those
I hate
classes?
them.
Yeah. Would the day be better if you just didn't have to go to those classes?
Yeah. Or my math teacher taught them.
Oh, I see. So if your math teacher taught all your classes, it would be better.
Yeah, it would be great. Then I would actually want to go to school.
Yeah. So what does your math teacher do? Like, how is your relationship with him different than the other teachers?
I feel like he like cares about me. Like he cares about how I do and like how I'm doing, and he doesn't yell at me. Like he doesn't think I'm a bad kid. Like all the other teachers are like, oh, that's like he's the bad kid. Like he's gonna cause trouble.
Is that how you feel when you walk into certain classrooms, like your history classroom and your gym classroom? You think that they think you're a bad kid?
Yeah.
That's probably not a good feeling.
No, it feels really crappy.
Feels crappy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, who wants to learn from the person that makes you feel crappy?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's tough, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of things do you like to do when you're not at school? I know you said video games. Is there anything else?
No, not really.
Do you like to draw?
I would rather draw than play a sport,
Okay.
but I still don't love it.
You still don't love it. You love video games the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a portable one, or is it the what do you have? The Xbox?
Well, I have an Xbox, and I also have an iPad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I like Minecraft on my iPad.
So Minecraft on your iPad, and then you play Call of Duty on your Xbox.
Yeah, those are my favorite.
Cool. Can you tell me something that you're really good at?
Minecraft.
Minecraft?
Yeah.
Yeah. Minecraft is when you have to build all those little. You have to build the walls, right? And then there's the creepers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm so good at killing them.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really bad at video games. So what's the trick with killing creepers?
Well, you have to like know where they are and be able to like move your character around so that you get to them before they see you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to have the right weapon. So like a sword works better than fire for like killing creepers.
Oh, okay.
And then like as soon as you kill them, you just have to make sure there are like no others before you like move on because sometimes they hide.
Oh, they hide.
Yeah.
And do you have to like build the walls up and like protect yourself from the creepers?
Yeah, you can, but then like you won't be able to move around as much. So
I see.
you just have to like be ready for anything, really.
Be ready for anything that comes out. Are there any other bad guys besides the creepers?
Yeah, the pigs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They get violent, so like you have to be ready. I think if you just like trap them in a box, they'll be okay. Like I'm not gonna kill them or whatever, but like if you just like keep them in a box and like move on, they won't hurt you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sounds like you know a lot about Minecraft. You're like a Minecraft expert.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I like reading books about Minecraft.
There's books about Minecraft too?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
There are a lot of books.
Is that how you get good at it? You read about it?
Yeah, I mean like also just playing,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I learned a bunch from books.
Cool. You could teach other people how to play Minecraft.
Maybe.
So, I'm glad we got to talk about Minecraft. Is it okay if we go back to talking about why Mom thinks you're here today?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, so what did Mom tell you about why you're here?
She just said that, like, she is worried about me because of my anger.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that we argue all the time. So she, like, was saying that she wants me to figure out how I can, like, be happier and, like, do what I need to do around the house and, like, at school and, like, get better grades and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what do you think about that?
Well, like, it's not my fault that, like, things need to be done that I don't want to do. Like, that's not my fault. Like, my mom has asked me to do things, and it's not my problem,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to clean the house or whatever. And, like, at school, like, why should I have to study or, like, learn things? Like, the teachers want me to, so it's their fault that they, like, want me to. So, like, my anger is because, like, it's just none of it's my fault. Like, I didn't cause anybody to, like, do anything. So, like, why should I have to do things I don't want to do?
Mm-hmm. Like go to school and clean up. And...
Yeah. That's why I get angry, is because I don't want to do them. Like, it's not my problem.
Mm-hmm. Okay. When did you start feeling this way? When did you start feeling angry?
I don't know, like a year or two ago.
A year or two ago? Okay.
I mean, I, like, really hated that I was held back in second grade. And, like, it wasn't my fault that I had to be held back, so, like, why did I have to go through that?
Mm-hmm.
like be separated from all my friends and everything.
Yeah, that was probably really tough. Seeing all your
Yeah.
friends go to third grade and you had to stay in second grade another year.
Yeah, I mean it was really annoying, and well, like I was still okay, like it was fine, but I guess like a year or two ago, I just like feel yucky all the time.
It started a year ago, feeling yucky all the
I
time.
guess so, like a year or two.
A year or two.
Yeah.
So you started feeling yucky all the time, about like almost 2 years ago. But then you started getting into fights and arguing with mom about a year ago.
Yeah, because like I didn't really. It started off as like I was angry, but it was more like I was just like keeping to myself and doing nothing. And then like a year ago, I guess it like I became more loud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How often do you experience feeling angry and kind of icky?
Every day, all the time.
Every day, all the time?
Yeah.
Is there ever a time where you don't feel icky?
When I'm playing video games.
Yeah, that's the one thing that helps you feel not angry or icky.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And in what ways does being angry, how does it affect your life in other ways, with friends, in school?
Well, I don't think it's my fault that I don't have friends, but like they know me as like the kid who gets angry, so like I don't think they want to be friends with me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not my problem. They think that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, um, like like I don't think it's my fault that I don't have friends. I think they should try to be friends with me. I do have one friend, Sam. He comes over
Mm-hmm.
and we play video games. It's not bad.
So Sam is your friend. Does your anger ever affect your friendship with Sam?
Well, when he does stupid things in the video games, I get mad. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, like he shouldn't have done stupid things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I know that you said that in school, your history teacher gives you a hard time, the gym teacher gives you a hard time. How else does it affect you in school?
It's just that like all the teachers just like they treat me unfairly. Like it's not my problem that I get angry because if they're like punishing me and not other kids for like bad behavior, then like why should I be the one who's punished? Like it's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I get like angry at them.
Yeah. I can see that could be really frustrating.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah, for sure. What about at home? How does it affect you at home?
Well, my parents are always like trying to interfere with my video game stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're always trying to like get me to stop playing. So like that's really annoying. And like I like to eat in my room to like have a break from them.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister is also like, ugh, she's so annoying. She just like doesn't like get that like I want to be left alone or like I don't want her to touch my stuff. Like she doesn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
She should. She's 10. Like she should know.
Yeah. So it sounds like you really value your having time to yourself. You need that. You need that time, that alone time.
Yeah, I like being alone.
Mm-hmm. Did anything happen right before you started feeling angry?
No.
Okay. Has your family tried anything to make your angry feelings better?
Not really. Sometimes they buy me new video games, but like I'll just go back to being angry after that. Or like I know like teachers have tried to do stuff. Like I see all these charts with like stickers or whatever on them, but like I think they're stupid.
You think they're stupid?
Because it takes like how am I supposed to earn like a reward?
Mm-hmm.
Like or like if the rewards are stupid, like I don't want a sticker.
Yeah. You want what would be a good reward to you?
Something with video games. maybe new Minecraft game, like books,
Mm-hmm.
like something like that.
Are there Minecraft books at school?
I think the lady who's like the counselor at the school, I think she has some.
She has some Minecraft books.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been talking to the counselor lady at school?
And she comes like sometimes I go to her and she's like, how are you feeling? Are you angry? And I'm just like, like that. I mean, she's not. We talk a little, but like.
Not really. So is there anything else you want to talk to me about today? You want to tell me about?
I don't think so.
Okay. Do you feel like your anger is a problem for you?
I mean, I think if people like didn't do things that they shouldn't do, like I wouldn't be so angry. So like I don't really see it as an issue. Like I see it as other people's issues.
Mm-hmm. I see. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I'm really ready, and 1 being I'm not ready. Well, let's go with this actually. What do you think would be the benefits of keeping going the way you've been going, like getting angry at people, and what do you think would be the benefits of that?
I get what I want.
You get what you want. Okay. What do you think of the drawbacks?
What's a drawback?
Drawbacks like a negative. You know, like pros and cons.
Mm-hmm.
So the pros are like the benefits, and then the drawbacks are like the cons, the negative stuff.
I guess like I get in trouble a lot
Mm-hmm.
for like being angry or like arguing.
How does that feel when you get in trouble a lot?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
Mm-mm.
So let's go back to the scale. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I'm ready right now, and 1 being I'm not ready at all. Where on that scale do you think you fit about wanting to change the way you behave?
What were the numbers again?
1 to 10, or 0 to 10, or negative.
And what's higher?
10
ready?
10 is the highest, that you're really ready.
Like a 4.
4? Why not 0?
Because I don't like getting in trouble.
You don't like it?
It's annoying.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Mark, thank you so much for coming in and being honest with me today. We're just about out of time. Is there anything else you want to talk about today that we haven't yet?
No, that's it.
Okay. Thank you so much. We're going to go get your mom. And I'm going to call you guys and let you know what's up in a couple of days.
Okay.
Sound good?
Mhm.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks.